With VR, you feel like you're actually right there, present with someone, even if physically they're in a completely different place somewhere halfway across the world.
But this is a place where digital output is mixed in with the real world. So that's why we call it the mixed reality.
With the rise of coronavirus, a new reality emerged, a one where we have to be socially distant but virtually close. To cope with that matter, we tried to convert our physical daily routine to a digital one by using remote working, for instance. But two things were missing to those initiatives: the concept of presence and embodiment. Those latter make the worker feel less happy, have more security risk, and feel more lonely. Virtual reality can represent the solution to those weak problems. In fact, according to resources, the market will grow from 5 to 50 billion in 2026. Imagine yourself participating in a VR meeting, cooking the right size of cucumber with the help of an app, or traveling the whole world and visit La Tour Eiffel or the Sixtine Chapel. You might think this is the future, but it's the present, and we even use VR for healthcare purposes. Now imagine yourself in 2030. Remote workers are now 70% of the population. There is many agreement between tech companies for VR investment, and there is still a fear for a new pandemic to arise. And even the UN decided to allocate a budget to major companies in order to increase remote technology in their own countries. This will inevitably lead to a major advance in research and development, which will considerably change the look of VR as we know it in 4 different categories: movement, feel, comfort, and resolution. Nowadays, the VR user is limited in movement and sometimes it can be harmful. This is why omnidirectional treadmills are used in 2030. It lets you walk freely in an infinite space. Concerning the feel, you cannot feel anything in a VR game as in any game or app. But in 2030, every user will be equipped with an exoskeleton so you can feel every touch in your hand or body. Now, for those who tried VR, you noticed how much weight there is in this device. In 2030, you can equip yourself with a bionic lens and run the application on your phone using 5G. In a nutshell, with the 2030 VR, you will move wherever you want, feel with the exoskeleton, and have comfort with the lenses. But to understand how it will change our daily life, we will analyze one day in the shoe of Jeff in 2030. Jeff is a student at an engineering school in Madrid. In the past, students could only get a partial view of the teaching material as they were not able to experience real-life examples. Putting the VR equipment, today Jeff is submerging himself into a nuclear plant. Walking through the corridor and changing all the parameters of the machine, and all this happened at home without the risk of visiting a nuclear plant. After his class, Jeff has been applied to different companies, and today he received a case study of a nuclear plant. He was sent a link that he could open with his VR lens. There he was tested on the learning he's been acquiring in the last sessions, mainly about the right parameter of the nuclear machine. Because he had this last experience, he could go to the exact room and make the necessary changes. Jeff believes it's been a productive day and wants to start preparing for his end-of-master trip with his friend. They plan to spend 1 month abroad. Unfortunately, they are not able to make a decision regarding the final destination. They all put their lens and start visualizing different countries and submerging in virtual tour. Paris looked like their final destination. After that, Jeff lies in bed, puts on his lenses, and starts playing Call of Duty, and thanks to the treadmill have unlimited space to run. It doesn't look very different from what his friend Tom experienced at the military. Somehow, Tom received all his training through virtual reality. This way, people can be located around the world, so they're able to jump into a real emergency whenever it's needed. Before going to sleep, Jeff opened the documentary section of Netflix. He said he'd be interested to see what happened 10 years ago. He took his lens and could walk through the street where the George Floyd protests were taking place. He also saw the first day of COVID disease in Wuhan and was impressed because with VR people could understand the problem and not going to repeat it in the future. If we have seen Jeff live for one day, we can deduce the positive effect for this new VR world. We have more efficient training, remote working is done in a more human way, we have a better work-life balance and less physical crime. Of course, it will lead to negative effects such as dizziness, physically fatigue, cybercrime, and the confusion between virtual and the reality. This new world will be an opportunity for advertisers who can customize their ads, but also an opportunity for developers to create their own world, not to mention the training done for job recruiter and creativity of people. Last but not least, we want to finish with this quote, and maybe that you're already in the virtual reality without knowing it.